What made you start this organization?
I saw a video of a woman getting mugged on a residential block. When I heard that woman screaming, I felt like I was hearing one of my family members screaming. The very next night, I just went out asking people if they needed to walk home from bus stops and train stops.
The Brooklyn Bike Patrol is run through a Facebook fan page where anyone can reach out when they are in need.
And I definitely feel safe with one of the big guys from the Brooklyn Bike Patrol with their giant chains around their waists walking me home.
I'm Wiebke Reile.
I'm Ahmed Hussein.
I'm Hope Ann Nathan.
I'm Tristan Griffan. That story tonight on this special edition of Brooklyn College 60 Minutes.
New York City is known as a hub of business and culture, a city that offers endless opportunities at all hours of the day and night. Throughout New York's varied history, the city that never sleeps has also had a reputation for criminal activity. That's why many people see it as dangerous, especially when the sun goes down. But New York has cleaned up its act over the past couple decades. Crime's at an all-time low, and officials have labeled the city as safe. But how safe is safe? No large city is ever crime-free, especially in Brooklyn, New York's most densely populated borough. Brooklyn is comprised of many diversified neighborhoods where residents have lived for generations. But now that's changing, as newly landed young hipsters look for relatively low-rent apartments in those areas. And while attacks are down, pockets of crime still exist. So residents try to fill the gap by forming organizations whose intention is to make the streets safer. One such group is called the Brooklyn Bike Patrol, a service where men on bikes rush to subway stations to escort people home during the late hours of the night, completely free of charge. Though they have garnered support from a number of city officials, they are not a part of, nor are they endorsed by the police department. Despite that, the members of the Brooklyn Bike Patrol don't see themselves as a vigilante crime-fighting group. They insist that all they want to do is simply get you home safely.
Brooklyn is New York City's largest and most populous borough with 2.5 million people. It's comprised of various smaller communities and cultures and continues to grow. Compared to Manhattan, Brooklyn has cheaper rents, so it has become an attractive place to live for many young people in the city.
Brooklyn is red hot. It's probably one of the fastest growing boroughs, as well as the excitement, everything from the new stadium that we have in downtown Brooklyn, the Barclays Center.
New York State Senator Eric Adams is a Brooklyn native who has watched the borough blossom and change. Like in most communities throughout the country, Brooklyn residents are not only concerned with the vibrancy of their area, but the safety of their neighborhoods. Though crime is on the decline in New York City, with a decrease of 76% in the past 20 years, it still remains on the minds of many.
Who would have thought that? We have everything from a great Greenpoint that's thriving to a Bedford-Stuyvesant, the new brownstone belt. So this is an exciting place to be and an exciting time to be in Brooklyn.
What change have you specifically seen in crime in Brooklyn?
The decrease in crime in the overall borough, but there are still pockets of crime in certain areas, and we can't ignore that. I think that sometimes when you look at the decrease in the overall picture, that you sort of ignore what is taking place in some of the crevices and corners of some of the communities. Because telling a person that lives in a high crime block or a high crime neighborhood that crime has decreased in the borough, that's not saying much.
Alex, a native Brooklynite from the Midwood area, is a testament to the remaining dangers of Brooklyn at night.
I was punched in the face. The punch was so hard that my tooth went right through, out my cheek. So it was out of my face, basically.
It went through your cheek?
Yeah.
One night, while out in what seemed like a safe park, he and his friends became the victims of a mugging.
I was lifted up by my neck, and I had all my stuff taken out of my pocket. Right when I gained consciousness, I noticed that my friend was going through the same thing with the guys that were sitting over by him.
I had a really bad experience in Brooklyn.
Jen, who recently moved to Fort Greene, Brooklyn, represents the demographic that faces the most risk when walking home alone at night.
I started walking towards my house and I noticed there was someone really close to me, like right behind me, and I looked at him and I just had a really bad feeling, but I'm from a small town, so I figured, all right, you're really paranoid, like just keep going. And I kept walking, and then I ended up letting him pass me on one of the streets, and he turned around and looked at me, and he made eye contact with me, and I was really scared. I just had a really, really bad feeling about it. And then when I was walking up the hill, he was standing at the top of the hill near the park entrance, because I have to go up a hill and then through a park to get home. And he was just staring at me. And so when I got to the top, I was like, okay, I can't go past this guy. Let me just pretend that I don't know where I am and turn around. And there was an old couple there. And so by the time I turned around, I went to say to them, I think this guy is following me. And he was right behind me, like right on me. So I started running as fast as I could.
Jay Ruiz, a Brooklyn native and resident of Park Slope, was shocked by the amount of sexual assault still occurring across the borough and could no longer sit back and passively watch. So Jay founded the Brooklyn Bike Patrol, a volunteer organization that would take back the streets of Brooklyn one walk at a time.
What made you start this organization?
I saw a video of a woman getting mugged on a residential block. And no one came to her aid. She was screaming to the top of her lungs. When I heard that woman screaming, I felt like I was hearing one of my family members screaming. And it just changed my life. The very next night, I just went out asking people if they needed to walk home from bus stops and train stops.
The Brooklyn Bike Patrol is run through a Facebook fan page where anyone can reach out to Jay and his team when they are in need. They have no office, and all of the calls go directly to Jay's cell phone, who then dispatches a volunteer to pick them up. Olivia is a new resident in Brooklyn, coming from a smaller city in New Mexico. Since rent in New York City can be rather expensive, she has moved into an up-and-coming area of Brooklyn known as Crown Heights, and has often had concerns about her safety during the later hours.
Do you sometimes feel like you're running from the train station?
Yeah, I feel like my neighborhood's just so quiet, and it's like 5 blocks away, and I don't want to run. That seems so obnoxious to me to like run home. But there's definitely been moments where I'm looking over my shoulder and I have my keys, like with my key coming out between my thumb and my forefinger.
After hearing about the Brooklyn Bike Patrol on Facebook, Olivia went to their page to get more information on the service and in turn became one of their clients.
Do you feel that they're capable of protecting you?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the time it's just about having someone else there. I would even feel safe with one of my girlfriends, maybe. I feel like when I'm alone is when I'm the most afraid, and I definitely feel safe with one of the big guys from the Brooklyn Bike Patrol with their giant chains around their waists walking me home.
Gary is one of the Brooklyn Bike Patrol volunteers. Like the rest of them, he has a full-time job during the day, but donates his time at night to help women stay safe.
I feel like you've formed relationships with these people that you walk home?
I wouldn't say relationships. It would be more that degree of professional relationship. It's almost like someone that you provide a service for in a work environment. Even though this is a voluntary service, there is that professional distance, but there is an engagement, you know, like you have to make someone feel comfortable. And I don't mind speaking about my family and speaking about my outside life, as well, and dropping hints about personal safety and situational awareness and, you know, simple things that people can do to make the right choices to minimize any risk. And what we do is we provide an easy choice that minimizes a lot of risk just by our presence, nothing else.
Greg, another volunteer who lives and works in Brooklyn, takes his role in the Brooklyn Bike Patrol very seriously. Given the nature of the service, he treats it with the same professionalism he would any other.
And did Jay give you any training or advice for all these situations?
We keep contact to pretty much zero with people, because I think once people see you're not in it to try to, you know, who knows what, there's much more trusting. So it's like, hey, we walk with our bikes in between you and us. Like, you know, we're here to keep you safe, but also want you to feel safe from us. Like, we're people who are going to treat you with respect. We're not here to try to, like Jay on the phone, he's like, you know, this ain't no pickups, or what do you say? This ain't no dating service.
The safety of the women who call on the Brooklyn Bike Patrol has always been a concern of Jay. Not all willing men with a bike are open to join his service. He's very particular about selecting volunteers and does a rigorous background check on each member. While on the job, there's a strict code of conduct to ensure no inappropriate behavior by his team. The goal is to gain the trust of those who use the service.
Do you have confidence in all your volunteers to be able to keep every woman safe? Do you have any protocol or standards, or is it just like a gut feeling that you get?
It's a combination of all. All my guys, I have confidence in. Not only you have to be a gentleman, not only do I gotta trust you that you're not gonna try to pick up phone numbers and be a gigolo or whatever the case, you know. You have to protect that person that be walking home like they their mother or their wife, you know. Anything short of a gun, I'm expected to do something. I could have 20 guys right now. I only got 5. You know, it's hard to find a good volunteer. That combination of good guy, dependable. He's not gonna try to be a pretty boy Floyd and rap through the girls and stuff like that. And he's gonna protect them like he's protecting his mother or something.
Though the service is very popular and highly acclaimed among its members, it had yet to garner support from local authorities. That is until Jay met Eric Adams at a local community meeting in Brooklyn.
I was talking to a group of women telling them that we will not leave you stranded. And I got emotional in that meeting, and New York State Senator Eric Adams approached me afterwards. He asked me how he could help. It was October. I didn't know how to keep my guys warm during the winter. I said, I need jackets. A few weeks later, I met him. A few weeks after that, he raised the money, got me the jackets. With his name on my jacket, that gave us, wow, these guys are for real. New York State Senator Eric Adams backing him up. That's how I feel.
Eric Adams was the first to put his support behind the Brooklyn Bike Patrol and believes that Jay and his team's efforts have made a positive impact in the community.
Do you believe that they have the ability to keep women safe?
Yes, they do, because those who prey on women, for the most part, they're cowards, and they look to do something to someone that they believe is incapable of standing up against their fight. And sometimes it's difficult when you're going up against someone that may be physically stronger. And once they got on board, you saw an immediate decrease, and we had an apprehension of who they believe was the person involved. And I think their presence played a vital role, because you can't stop going to your place of employment. You can't stop going to pick up your child or stop going to your daily duties that you have. You can't become a prisoner within your own home. And so the Brooklyn Bike Patrol was not only actual by escorting women home at night, but they were also part of the perception that we're not going to surrender our streets to the cowards that prey on the innocent.
Though Jay has reached out to different NYPD precincts across Brooklyn, he has yet to get their seal of approval. They also declined to make a statement to us.
And do you feel that you have a lot of support from the police department?
I had approached the police and told them who we are. And we told them, and we know with the Brooklyn Bike Patrol, we don't patrol. We walk people home.
The Brooklyn Bike Patrol does not operate for profit or even accolades. Jay sees this service as something very necessary and simple.
But I hope it inspires people to do something nice, because all we are is a simple act of kindness.
I'm Hope Ann Nathan. Thank you for watching this special edition of Brooklyn College 60 Minutes.